Yo guys, right now we have new limited merch over on Teespring, and I just revamped my Patreon with some brand new perks, early thumbnail access, as well as a surprise charm every month. Also, I stream Best Team for Radical Red right here. Sub the Zora for Best Team for Radical Red Let's Play, episode 1's up by the way. Sage, anime. Follow me on my socials, especially Insta and TikTok. I'm getting really active out there. You may even get subtle hints for videos and cute pet photos. All these will be in the description below and in the iCard above. The best 3D Pokemon games a Pokemon fan has ever seen. I know my editor right here is going to completely disagree with me on this, but hey, that's fine. Pokemon Colosseum was introduced to us back in the 3rd generation of Pokemon on the Nintendo GameCube console. That's Nintendo console. Pokemon Colosseum at the time felt like the best thing that has ever happened to Pokemon. Badass plot, badass character, badass Psycho Mare, badass bike, and the best badass starters the franchise has ever seen. Ever. We all know why, because we have this demonic black dog to pick from, and this thing, as you know, is the best Pokemon that was ever created. If you disagree, well then, I don't really care. Anyway, before I hop into what a best team is, let me explain Colosseum a bit more and how it's going to affect the team. I say best team, but in reality, due to this game's options of Pokemon, you're literally quite shafted of the potential that lies. See, in Pokemon Colosseum, there are no wild encounters. You are only allowed to capture Shadow Pokemon and obtain a few gifted Pokemon. But even then, no one wants to use this crap. In the entirety of Pokemon Colosseum, there are only 48 Pokemon that exist. And what's worse is that you're limited to using only 38 of them before the endgame. Not to mention these movesets will be janky due to most of the TMs only being accessible in post-game, and also being without a physical special split. So I'm just gonna tell you now, don't expect to see anything stellar on this team. On top of seeing nothing stellar, this team is built on the entire concept of double battles. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. With Colosseum's explanation out of the way, now let's hop over to the trainers of Orre and what a best team is. Just in case you didn't know, a best team is a team of 6 Pokemon that is designed for the absolute best performance for its said Pokemon game. This team usually revolves around a best starter, but since this is Colosseum, this is pretty much grab what you can get and make do with it. Regardless though, each team member will try to help to the best of their abilities against the Power Cypher Rangers / Scrub, Justy, Dakim plus his rematch, Venus plus her rematch, Ein plus his rematch, Mirror B plus his rematch, Nascor, Psycho Mare, or Evice, and Gonzap, the leader of Team Snag'em. When it comes to their movesets, we will be including TM moves, however, we do not allow egg moves nor post-game tuner moves. I say TMs, but who am I kidding? There's only like 5 in Colosseum. You guys will see that soon enough. Until then though, let's ride on with this team. Welcome to Orre, or Nevada, Arizona, USA. I'm actually very familiar with this place. Pokemon Colosseum has one of the most amazing protagonists I have ever seen in a Pokemon game. On top of that, my boy Wes here has the 2 best starter Pokemon a trainer could ever ask for, being Umbreon and Espeon. And yes, we are using both. I know a lot of people aren't particularly keen on using Umbreon on a team, especially for in-game and Colosseum, but if you take a look at our options, Umbreon stands out as being one of the best. Not to mention its bulk I feel is very needed in the later game. Plus, being able to Toxic Stall and recover with Moonlight is not a bad gig to have. Going into Espeon though, legit, this is one of the best Pokemon in the entire game you have access to. I know that Espeon doesn't have the very best move pool in the world, but come on. Stab Psychic on this beast is still going to hit very hard. I can for sure guarantee you that Espeon is going to be one of the MVPs of this team, especially in the earlier game. Pretty much all the Pokemon in the early game are going to get 1 the 2-shot by confusion. I could sit here and praise these 2 amazing Pokemon for hours, but this is a team video, and in these videos, we have movesets. So let's get into that. Umbreon's moveset is going to consist of Bite, Taunt, Toxic, and Moonlight. Bite is here because this is the best stab option we have. I guess you can count Feint Attack if you want 100% accuracy, but I like Bite because, hey, there's a chance to flinch. If you want Feint Attack though, I ain't stopping you. Next is Taunt, which this Umbreon has as its starter move. Taunt will come in handy throughout your adventure. Trust me, you will know when to use it. Third is Toxic, which is a must for Umbreon. The TM for this can be obtained by beating the Pirate Colosseum the first time you get to Pirate Town. When it comes to Toxic stalling, you never know when you're going to need it, so that's why this is Umbreon's best weapon. Lastly is Moonlight. Umbreon is a wall and a Toxic Staller, so naturally, we want some form of recovery. I will say Moonlight is late game, being learned at level 52, but at that part of the game is when this move is really needed. I already know what some of you are going to be typing out. Mystic, you can just use full restores. Couldn't we just use Psychic? Sure. If you want to grind Mount Battle for 6 hours and waste the move slot, yeah, sure. That's fine. With this moveset, Umbreon will attempt to do well against Bluenos, Rozo's, and Verde's Spoink and later Grumpig, Scrub's Wynot and later Wobbuffet, Dakim's Claydol in his rematch, Ain's Starmie, Venus's Bayonet and Mischievous, Nascor's Dusclops, Gardevoir, and Xatu, and Psycho Mare or Evice's Slowking. Those Pokemon are only the ones Umbreon does well against in terms of stab. Now I want to mention some of the Pokemon Umbreon can Toxic Stall against to make your journey just a bit easier. Mirabee's level 45 Ludicolo, Ion's Lantern, Venus's Suicune and later Milotic, Nascor's Dusclops and Walrein, and possibly Psycho Mare's Slacking and Tyranitar. These are all the Pokemon, in my opinion, that Toxic Stalling will be really effective on. I will say though, don't rely on Toxic Stall, only use it if you have to. Surprisingly, I'm actually shocked Umbreon has this much reliability in Orre, so good job, buddy. For Espeon's moveset, we've gone with Psychic for Stab, which can be learned at level 47. Until then, you can use Confusion or Psybeam when that gets available to you. Next, we have Helping Hand for support, which is also a starter move. In a game of double battles, this could be a real threat to anyone, so use it when necessary. Then, we have Reflect as a general team support and a bit of additional bulk. That can be bought in the Undershop for 3,000 Pokédollars. Lastly, we've given Espeon the move Return, which can be obtained as a TM by defeating the only gym leader in Orre, or the closest equivalent anyway. But anyway, you can find that in Phoenix City, and his name is Justy. However, in Espeon's case, it starts out with Return in its moveset. So I guess that's pretty neat, and a reference that Espeon really loves Wes. That's so wholesome. As you can see from this moveset, Espeon's main job on the team is to be a very strong special attacker with utility for the rest of the team. With Confusion in the early game, Psybeam mid-game, and Psychic later down the line, Espeon will mainly be able to help deal with Blueno, Verde, and Rozo's Grimer and Muck, Rozo's Breloom, Scrub's Shadow Hitmontop, Ion's Golbat and later Crobat, Venus's Vileplume, Gonzep's Hariyama, Nascor's Blaziken, and Evice's Machamp. Overall, a pretty solid amount of Pokemon, considering its only real offensive typing is its stab attack. Hey, guess what? We get to pick an actual starter Pokemon. In Pokemon Colosseum, the player either has the option of choosing Bayleaf, Croconaw, or Quilava. Now naturally, I'm assuming you're thinking Quilava, because of its best team for Johto performances. And to that, I say, nope, we're not. In fact, we're actually going to be picking the worst of the three, being Bayleaf. It's my personal favorite of the three, but unfortunately, it's not the best. Typhlosion and Feraligatr are both great Pokemon, but in Orre, there are actually better Pokemon that do their jobs. 2 of those Pokemon will be on this team later. I chose Bayleaf because I wanted to use a Fire, Water, and Grass core on this team, and the best of the Grass types just so happened to be Meganium. The Fire and Water part of the core outshine Meganium drastically, but overall, Meganium does serve as a bulky utility Mon that will help keep things together. The moves for Meganium are actually similar to what you would see in a Johto run, being Razor Leaf, Body Slam, Light Screen, and Earthquake. Razor Leaf is our best stab option, and that is the second to last move learned via the Shadow Pokemon cycle, which I will explain in a bit. Body Slam is next, and it's pretty good offensively, plus it has a chance to paralyze. Body Slam is also the last move it gets as a Shadow Pokemon. Next, we have a utility move being Light Screen. Light Screen can be set up always, so there's no reason not to have it. Whatever defensive edge we get, we take it. Lastly, there's Earthquake, which is found after defeating Ein for the first time at the Shadow Pokemon Lab in the top right corner of the room he's in. With this moveset, Meganium will do fairly well against Verde, Rosso, and Blueno's Muck, Miracle Bee Sandslash, Scrub's Clamperl, Geodude, and later Graveler, Justy's Sandshrew, Azumarill, and Nosepass, Mirabee's Sudowoodo and Golurk, Dakim's Claydol, Whiscash, and Houndoom if you dare, Venus's Suicune in the initial match, and her Raichu and Milotic in the rematch, Ion's Huntail and Lantern in the initial battle, and his Rhydon, Starmie, and Manectric in the rematch, Gonzap's Crawdaunt, just watch out for Sludge Bomb, technically Nascor's Blaziken, Walrein, and Metagross, but I would only recommend using it versus Metagross, and Psycho Mare, Slowking, and Tyranitar. Say hello to a new feature to the Best Team series. I am delighted to welcome Quagsire as the newest addition to the team. Shadow Quagsire can be snagged from Bandana Guy Devel, who can be found in the Pirate Town Battle Circle. Quagsire will be a major asset to the team thanks to the double battle setting of Pokemon Colosseum. When I was doing my research for the water options in Orre, I had to decide between a potential Feraligatr and a Suicune. But what really gave Quagsire a big edge for me personally was the access to 3 multi-target moves and the access to ground stab. This allows us to pick a more beneficial starter to round out the team. Additionally, Suicune is just a little too late in-game to really make itself valued. So Quagsire became the king of the crop, as they say. For Quagsire's moves, we have Earthquake, Blizzard, Surf, and Amnesia. If you compare these moves to Umbreon and Espeon's, this is a gift from Arceus, and I don't really care that it technically didn't exist yet. We have Stab 100 base power in a game where we are limited. Kiss the Sting's feet. Earthquake can be learned at level 42. All things considered, that's really good. Until level 42 though, you can use Mud Shot, which is learned upon purification if Quag is not level 42 yet. Speaking of purification, during Meganium I said I would explain things. Well, let me explain to you how purification works real fast in Shadow Pokemon. Essentially, you snag Shadow Pokemon and your goal is to open their heart. You open their heart by making their Shadow gauge go down. Making the gauge go down is as easy as just using Quagsire or whatever Shadow Pokemon in battle. As the door to the heart opens up, Shadow Pokemon also gain moves along the way, and that leaves us with Quagsire's purification moves being Amnesia and Surf. Amnesia is the first move Quagsire will learn as the Shadow Bar goes down. This move can boost Quagsire's special defense by 2 stages. This is a move that can always come in handy. Next, Quag has Surf, which is the last move it gets in its Shadow Pokemon state. Surf is the best water stab Quagsire gets. Fun fact actually, most of the water Pokemon in this game get Surf. And lastly, we have Blizzard for overall coverage and for the sake of double battles. TM14 Blizzard can be found in the Undershot for 5,500 Pokédollars. With this ethereal moveset, Quagsire will blow out anything in front of it, but it will do especially well against Bluno, Rozo, and Verde's Muk. Scrub's Graveler, all of Justy's team except for Azumarill, this be aware of the grass-type stab from Kakuna and Sunflora, Mirror B, Sudowoodo, and Armaldo, Dakim's Golem, Camerupt, and Entei upon the first battle, and his Claydol, Flygon, and Houndoom in the rematch, Iron's Golbat, Lantern, Altaria, and Raikou in the first match, his Crobat, Rhydon, and Manectric in the rematch, Venus' Steelix in the initial match, and a Raichu in the rematch, NASCAR's Blaziken, Xatu, and Metagross, and lastly, Psycho Mare's Salamence and Tyranitar. Our next Pokemon is probably the wild card of the team. With not a whole lot of great options, I decided to add Meditite, which will later evolve into Medicham. Now the reason I ended up choosing Medicham over the Pokemon in this game is for 2 reasons. 1, how early it's accessible, being snaggable in the Pyrite Cave on our way to take on Mirror B. And secondly, was the need for something to deal with Psycho Mare's Slacking. It ultimately came down to Meditite, Makuhita, or Heracross. And unfortunately for Heracross, it was just a bit too late to pick up. As for Makuhita, it simply just didn't stack up to pure power high jump kick. So for that reason, I decided that Meditite and later on Medicham would be the best fit for this team. Okay, let's get into Medicham's moveset. High jump kick and Detect. That's all. High Jump Kick is the last move as a Shadow Pokemon, and Detect replaces Shadow Rush after Purification. The last 2 moves I guess you could use are TM27 Return, which you get after defeating Justy in Phoenix City, and TM10 Hidden Power, which can be bought in the Undershot for $3,000. This moveset helps with a few matchups across the game, but the most important one is Psycho Mare's Slacking and Tyranitar. Before that, just use it on any Pokemon that needs a high jump kick to the face, preferably Pokemon that are Steel, Normal, Dark, and Rock type. Up last on the team is something I absolutely never do on best teams until now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you our very first legendary Pokemon on a best team, Entei. Yeah, you see it, in full color and badass Gen 3 3D HD. Entei can be snagged from Dakim at Mountain Battle at level 40+. Entei is the Pokemon that outclasses all other fire types, and it's by far the best Pokemon on this team. Quagsire, am I a joke to you? In terms of Entei, yes. Maybe when you become unaware of what's going on, I'll put you on this team. But yeah, Entei is the best. It's going to help you so much in this adventure. I promise you that. It's got 115 base physical attack, 90 base special attack, and 100 speed. Fire is special in this generation, but 90 special attack, plus the great move pool Entei has, makes its case a great one. If you guys see the moveset we've got on it, you'll know what I mean. Now, Entei's moveset isn't going to be a competitive Smogon material, but for Gen 3 standards and being limited, it's not too bad. We got Fire Blast / Flamethrower, Bite, Hyper Beam, and Stomp. Fire Stab is purely up to you. Do you want more power and lower accuracy with Fire Blast? Or do you want tad weaker power with more accuracy using Flamethrower? Me personally, I would actually use Flamethrower, and that can be learned at level 51. However, if you want Fire Blast, then it's the last move it gets as a Shadow Pokemon. Up next is Bite, and that's here for more coverage and can do Umbreon's job better. Bite is the second to last move it gets as a Shadow Pokemon. Then we have Hyper Beam, because it's 150 base power physical attack in Generation 3. The downside is that Entei will have to recharge. The TM for Hyper Beam can be bought in the Undershot for 7,500 Pokédollars. Lastly, we have Stomp, which is learned at level 41. 60 base power physical sounds good right about now, so we take those. With this powerful moveset, you'll make quick work of Jesse's Cacnea and Sunflora, Venus's Steelix and Vileplume in the initial match, as well as Rebellossom and Misdreavus in the rematch, Gonzap's Shiftry, Pinsir, and Skarmory, Nascor's Dusclops, Gardevoir, Xatu, and Metagross, and lastly, Psychomare Scizor. However, that's only type effective. Anything in front of Entei is pretty much going to die in front of you pretty quickly. Well, that pretty much wraps up this best team for Pokemon Colosseum. I know this video was a long time coming, but I hope you guys did enjoy it. I also hope that I see Pokemon Colosseum sales go through the roof because of this best team. Despite me talking trash about this team a bit, I really do like Pokemon Colosseum a lot. The game offered us something brand new at the time, and still to this day, I play it every so often. Speaking of playing this game, I may do a best team let's play over on Mystic Zora if you guys are interested in that, so be sure to go check out Mystic Zora if you guys are. A friend of mine may also be joining me for this. And also, big shoutouts to him for helping me create this team. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream all sorts of games from Pokemon to Fire Emblem to Zelda and much more. I also have an anime channel called MysticSage where I do anime reviews, rankings, and countdowns. So if you're interested in that kind of content, go ahead and check that out as well. If you want to support me even further and gain cool perks, check out my Patreon. These lovely people have all given me their support over there and I couldn't be more grateful to them. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.